Hey everyone, Garrett Walker here, and I am at the crash site of Lynyrd Skynyrd, and it's only been around here since 2019, and so look at that, and here's this. Right there. Right here. Right there. This is part of my bucket list, to be able to come here and do this. Is that beautiful or what? Look at that. They say 26 people was on that plane, and 6 of them died. God rest his soul. I don't know if they can rest in peace with all this stuff going on. I brought out my guitar so I can and you know Patsy, she's never met a stranger. We got a couple little fans right here. Okay, honey, it's time for you to shut up.
Oh, okay.
Well, you guys start talking so she'd shut up. Hold on a second.
She's going to set this up for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like it is. There we go.
Honey, do you have me in there? I'll just, Hi! Uh-oh.
Do what now?
Said hi.
Oh.
No.
You don't have to do that.
No, but I want to do that.
Well, you're already in it, so.
Well, look, I got to make a call. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, you need to do that over there.
I think I was. All right, I'm going to step right over here. I really have to call this back. I'm going to be here, though. I just don't want to be in it. Uh-oh. Here's
So, what's your name, sir?
Dwayne Easley.
Dwayne Easley. I seen your name around here.
right here.
It's
on
on
the
that bench
bench.
all
There
over.
it is.
He's one of the ones. And him and his
Well,
wife.
I'm Garrett Walker.
Let me get
Good to meet you. And your name, sir?
Dennis Wilson.
Dennis Wilson.
Yes, sir.
And
Let him tell this story. You'll be amazed. And
these two.
in fact, he donated this land
Him and his
that
wife.
the crash site memorial is on. So we'd love to hear your story.
Well, where to start?
Well, and also
Right
these
there at the
two-
beginning,
Stop interrupting me, honey.
honey. You're on camera.
I know. You got to be quiet. And these two were the ones that were first on the scene. So they were actually rescuing the people that crashed. So go ahead, tell your story. I'll shut up.
I'll let Dwayne go first.
I heard about, I was over here at my mom and dad's, and the phone rang, and I heard the helicopter go over. And the phone call was my aunt. They saw the plane go over their house, coming straight toward our house, but the engine's not running, so they knew it was crashing. So they called and said, there's a plane going down. Me and my buddy jumped up, and we heard the helicopter. And went around the other side. We got within about a quarter of a mile of the crash site over there. But we didn't know where it was at. So about 5 minutes, the helicopter came back. Oh.
You gotta talk to us.
Oh.
He's talking to me.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, about 5 minutes, the helicopter came back and stopped. And then we took off running through the woods. We knew where. That's how we knew. There's thousands of acres of timberland back there. It'd been impossible just to find it in the dark. It wasn't quite dark at that time. Anyway, when we got to the plane crash, just kind of broke out of the bushes, and there it was. thought it was going to be a small plane, but it was a big plane. You know, way bigger than I thought. And I could see one or two guys coming from the other side, from the west side. We were coming from the east. And then I could hear people inside, you know, crying for help, and all that kind of stuff, moaning, and I could see a hand where the plane had split open, so there was a hand sticking out up there that was moving, so I knew that one was alive.
Wow.
And then I walked around the plane and I saw a law enforcement officer. I can't remember. That's the only guy I saw. But so I came back around and I told my buddy, we didn't know what to do. We just farm boys. I said, this guy over here should tell us what to do. We walked back around the plane and he was just standing there looking. And all this time I could hear them people moaning, you know, keep me out, help. So I walked back over. I told Dennis, Wayne Blaze, I said, help me get up here, because it was like up here about like this where it's split open.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't see inside. He helped me get up there, and I peeled that part of the fuselage back like that, shine the flashlight in there, and I could see him. But I couldn't do anything. I'm standing there holding it. I couldn't do anything, you know.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody on the ground put a stick up there. Then I was able to get inside.
Wow.
Well, once I got inside, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not. But I grabbed the first one I got to, pulled, couldn't budge him. So I grabbed another one, couldn't budge him. So finally, I don't think it had been 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know how long, I don't know about time. Gerald Wall got up in there with me. And he said, got to get him out. I said, Gerald, I've been trying, they won't come out. He said, take your pocket knife out. They got on seatbelts. So I said, But anyway, we started cutting seatbelts and we were able to start getting them out.
Wow.
Of course, there was two. Cassie Gaines was in there, and Dean Kilpatrick was where we were at. They were obviously deceased. We knew that. We didn't get anybody else out that was deceased. I don't know if anybody died after we got them out. I don't know how many we got out. I couldn't tell you. I don't know who we got out, except those
Right.
two. But they were deceased. That's the only reason I know who they were. But the others, I don't know. I don't have any idea how many, who they were. In fact, we didn't know it was a Lynyrd Skynyrd plane at all. But it was all over with. They were all gone before I found out. So, I don't have any concept of how long it took. I don't have any concept of how many we got out. But, you know, I saw playing cards all over the place in there. I guess y'all did too. Huh?
Yeah, I picked up a few of those things. Had them for a long time.
See, he was on the west side. I'm on the east side with Gerald. He was over there with Jamie. A lot of what I call hippie purses, you know.
Yeah.
Leather purses everywhere. Shoe boxes, tennis shoes, shoe boxes. Those are the things that I really
Stood out.
Yeah, stood out. Everything in there that had blood on it. Everything.
Wow.
I saw a stick, not this long. I just saw it. It kind of makes an impression on your brain when you see things that had blood on it, about that far up. You could tell it went in somebody and came out.
Wow.
So I was telling that to some of those road crew guys come in sometimes, and I mentioned that. I said I couldn't understand where a stick.
Drumstick.
That's what it said. I said, yeah, that's what it was.
Drummer. Yeah.
No way. I didn't even think about a drumstick,
Mhm.
but it was broke because it wasn't but about that long.
Yeah.
And then it had blood on it about that far up on the stick. I know that's kind of gory, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Wow.
And
Incredible.
then I could hear Dennis, Jamie, I could hear them talking on the other side. I couldn't see them. So tell them what y'all did.
My involvement was mainly because I was fire chief of the local volunteer fire department. One of our volunteers had actually seen the plane, and it was very low. and he called the Macomb Airport. Stuart Hemphill called it Macomb Airport and asked about the plane, and the guy that answered the phone said, yes, we do have a plane in trouble down there. And a few minutes later, he called back, or they called him and said, well, the plane was down. And he called my house. I live over here about 4 miles from the crash site. And said, we need to call everybody and go see if we can help those people or find the plane crash or whatever. So I left the house about 6:30 on a Thursday afternoon, almost dusk dark, and drove toward the area where we thought it was, which happened to be the intersection of P.P. Wilson Road and Highway 568. When I got there, the patrolman, probably the one that Dwayne just mentioned, was Mr. Sammy King, or Mississippi Highway Patrolman. He that was there at that intersection with his blue lights on. I'm sure he had gotten called to come down here and see what he could help with. About the time I got there, we heard and then saw a helicopter out in front of us with a giant search spotlight shining straight down. And he was flying out in front of us, flying south. He went down below us probably a mile or two and made a U-turn and came up behind us. Well, the whole time we were watching, wondering what's going on, not having any idea what kind of plane, big plane, little plane, whatever. And he crossed P.P. Wilson Road and went about a quarter or maybe 3/8 of a mile, and all of a sudden just stopped in midair and hovered. By then it was kind of dark, and as soon as he stopped, we quit our bull session. We jumped in our vehicles and made the nearest beeline to that helicopter, which was coming up 568, turning on the Easley Road and then going down in Johnny Moat's pasture. And we drove about a half a mile off of the road, 3/8 of a mile off the road, as far as we could go in an open hay grass field. Jumped out of our vehicles and ran through the woods for probably 150 yards, crossed a little old small creek, and we could see and hear the helicopter the whole time. And I'll never forget the image that I saw. The plane, when it came down, had made a little opening to the width of the wings, and it was like a scene in a horror movie, because this spotlight was shining down on that white airplane that looked like a Boeing 747, you know, to me.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah.
And out in the middle of the woods, that's what it made it so different, or something that very few people see their whole lives. But anyhow, the plane came down at what I call a 45-degree angle. I don't know the angle it could have been, but it started clipping the tops of those trees. And it clipped them for probably 60 yards until it got so low and the resistance got so great, it finally had enough to hit a big old oak tree, or maybe two trees close together, and literally broke the plane on, just like you would break a pencil.
Yeah.
And it left the opening, as Dwayne said, up top. When we got there, we could see the opening, but it was probably 10 or 12 feet off the ground.
Wow.
So I was near the front of the line at the time, so I wound up and got pushed up and went down in the plane. And as Dwayne just said, several of people were conscious. Some of them were moaning, some of them were talking. A guy named Ron Ekman, one of the money managers of the thing, was alive and more conscious than any of them, and he was concerned about me helping him find a briefcase, and all he wanted to talk about was that briefcase.
Wow.
Because it had some money in it.
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to get you out here and these other people. So I kind of left him alone, and the ones that I could, I would kind of grab hold of him, like he said. It was very hard at the time to move a body that couldn't help you. Some of them could help you, most of them couldn't. But I would actually hand them off to the next guy.
Keep looking.
And that may have been Jamie Wall. But anyhow, he would carry them, push them on up to the top of the plane, and then they would slide them down to people on the ground. By then, people were coming from all over. I think we stayed down in that plane at least 30 minutes, if not 45 minutes,
Wow.
or an hour. And
Longer, you think?
it was probably, I believe, and it
I'm
may
sure.
have been, you know, because we made sure we got everybody. We got the ones that were able to help themselves, or, you know, the life. And then there was one or two. Well, first of all, when I got in the plane, I looked and I could see the pilot and the co-pilot. They were literally sandwiched or pancaked because of the impact. And I knew we could not get them out without some equipment to help get them. So we left them till last. We got all the survivors out, and then the one or two deceased, I think, that we got out on our side. I think y'all might have got two, and maybe we got two. And when we got all those out, except the pilot and co-pilot, we were back down on the ground. By then, people had come from all over Macomb. There was a few nurses or doctors there. They had made some make-do cots. The ambulances had got to as close as they could. They were carrying the people out on homemade stretchers, and by then maybe had some stretchers from the ambulance. We got everybody out, and there was 3 bodies left on the ground that somebody had covered that we knew were deceased. And I got some of my friends to help us, and we made some little carry blankets, and we carried those 3, put them in the back of my truck, and I brought those to Macomb, and they directed me to the little equipment hut in the back, and they had set it up for a temporary mortuary, you know, and the coroner came and examined those.
Wow, what a traumatic experience.
It was, and just as a add-on, you know, we knew a lot of people were there, but for 35 years, we just didn't talk about it.
Right.
We didn't, every now and then, I think Dwayne would say, especially up here, people would come by looking for the crash site, and he would see somebody and talk. But in 2014 or either 15, a guy named Mike Ronslin from Charleston, Mississippi, came down here and started asking some questions and wanting to talk to people that were involved in it. He was writing a book about the crash, and just by him stirring it up, I guess, getting our, we wound up and actually met a couple of times on the anniversary of the crash, October 20th, and from that we started talking about it, and with these ideas, and we talked about putting a nice sign on the side of the highway to commemorate the crash site, and we got turned down by the state highway department because, you know, they just wasn't interested in that. We thought it was a bad thing, you know, at the time, but it turned out to be the very best thing. We kept talking, and
There's signs on the highway.
well, we got them now. You
Yeah.
know, we got them now.
That
But
was 2 years
early
ago,
on,
right?
they wasn't interested.
Yeah.
And we started collecting some money through donations. We set up a 501c3.
Yeah.
Well, it got set up later. Actually, we were just taking donations on our own. And Dwayne and Lola were gracious enough to give us this little piece of land. So
That is wonderful.
we came up with these monuments, and so we're just delighted to have been a part of it, and to get to meet people and get people from all over the world. It's amazing the people that come here on a daily basis from all over the United States and 20 or 30 foreign countries because they love Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Well,
Yeah.
y'all have done a beautiful and wonderful job.
Well, thank you.
Oh my God,
And
this is.
I guess also that it probably helped y'all to talk about it too, doesn't it?
I enjoy meeting people. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a.
I mean, that was a traumatic
Yeah.
experience.
But what I didn't mention, during the rescue, I was trying to find out who these people were. It was on a Thursday night, and I'm a redneck from Amite County, Mississippi. Nothing goes on in the fall.
Bragger.
But football games, LSU was playing Ole Miss
Oh my God.
in Tiger Stadium Saturday night.
Yeah.
I said, if they was going to Baton Rouge, they had been to the ball game this weekend. And they said, no, we're a band. I said, what's the name of the band? Lynyrd Skynyrd. What?
Wow.
Lynyrd Skynyrd. I couldn't even say it for 2 or 3 days. But I'd never heard of them. I was a classic country guy. And
Same
As
here.
a country, that's
Yeah.
what he is.
Yeah. So anyhow, that was kind of the funny part. They did find Ron's briefcase. I hope all the money was in it, but
Oh, they
that's what he
did.
was concerned about, that briefcase.
Yeah.
'Cause he was the guy who doled out the per diem money on, you know, the guy.
Sure.
They was going to Baton Rouge so they could party all day Friday and Friday night. The concert wasn't until Saturday night. So anyhow, we've laughed about that.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for your stories.
Oh, yeah.
And we just so appreciate y'all so much.
All right.
We really do.
And just a little more history on you may have read on the monument. One of the rescuers said that they looked like a bunch of hippies. They looked like they couldn't afford. This is the man that said that that night. So
I'm
anyhow.
a biker hippie. What do you call me? A biker hippie girl?
She is a groovy biker
Groovy-
hippie.
Groovy biker hippie girl.
Okay.
Yeah. We
So,
both have
yes.
a Harley, and
Okay.
yeah, we just had our 3rd anniversary.
Oh really?
So
Good.
this isn't about us
Right.
yet, but nevertheless, thank you for your stories, guys.
You're quite welcome.
You know, we come out here the other day. I'm gonna get in there and say hi to my friends.
Go ahead.
Hi, friends. I like how
I don't know.
Jamie Johnson, he was just doing a concert. He goes, you know, my managers told me that I don't talk to you guys that much. He said, so, how you doing? Man, doing great. Good talking to you. And went right back to music. Anyway, I'm
So
gonna
you a
shut
Jamie
that.
Johnson fan?
You betcha.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
I listen to him every now and then.